You have to keep your emotions under control. You can't blurt out what you think. You have to think about other people's feelings. You have to persuade. You can't simply say, do it this way, that's how I want it. I'm not sure I ever saw myself as someone who would write kids' books, maybe because I didn't even see myself as someone who would have kids, but I wrote not just The Boy Who Would Be King, but at some point last summer, another idea hit me, and that became the book that I've just finished, The Girl Who Would Be Free, which is about the early life of Epictetus. I'm Ryan Holiday. I've written not just a couple of best-selling books about Stoic philosophy and been lucky enough to speak about it to the NBA and the NFL, sitting senators, special forces leaders. I'm also a parent. And in today's episode, I want to take you back in time, not just 2,000 years ago, but back in time a year or so ago, and show you how this story unfolds and how Stoicism shapes not just the ideas in the book, but the process of writing and publishing and creating the book, which had its fair share of difficulties and obstacles, and quite frankly, one problem after another. So we were on our walk this morning and I had this idea. I was taking my kids for the walk and the idea started running through my head, and I think I found what will be the sequel or maybe the prequel to The Boy Who Would Be King. The Boy Who Would Be King is about Marcus Aurelius. This is going to be about Epictetus, but I started working on it this morning. I was scribbling down little in Sharpie on a piece of paper, and I've got the not the outline, but I've got the first sort of key elements of it. I'm really, really excited. I love when you have an idea sort of popping up. I think I'll call it The Boy Who Would Be Free. Maybe not, maybe it'll change. But anyways, new book in the works. So I'm exactly a week into the second round of this kid's book. I've done 3 or 4 drafts on paper, but I need to be able to move it around. So I've moved it to digital, but I'm really excited where this is going. It's definitely gonna be about Epictetus, almost certainly gonna be Epictetus as a girl, which I know is gonna rub some people the wrong way, but that's just where I'm coming from. I'm just really feeling it. I'm just so excited about it, and I'm really glad to be lost in a project again. So I'm like 4 or 5 drafts now into The Girl Who Would Be Free. There it is, you can see here. And I'm just, once you get sort of the broad strokes, it's really just fine tuning. It's like you read it aloud over and over and over again, and you find little sentences that don't quite work, that don't quite resonate. And so I'm just kind of fiddling, like I'm adding an italics here. And as I'm working on this, the first time it was just like, let's get the ideas on the page. But now I'm starting to think, what's that gonna look like on the page, and how's that gonna be represented graphically? Now I am going through and trying to brainstorm the ideas for the illustrations on each page. So when you write, you know, something as sort of boiled down as a kid's book, there's all these sort of things informing what you're writing about, but it's unsaid. So I'm trying to make it explicit in each page so that can be reflected in the visual, which will make the illusion land stronger because it'll be rooted in something historically accurate. Obviously, most of what you do as a writer is solitary. What's different about this is that it's collaborative. Epictetus says the first task in life is separating things into what we control and what we don't. You don't control other people. Collaborating inherently, it doesn't make you vulnerable, but it does open you up in the sense that it makes it much more complex. You have to keep your emotions under control. You can't blurt out what you think. You have to think about other people's feelings. You have to persuade. You can't simply say, do it this way, that's how I want it. It was a challenge in that sense, but ultimately much more rewarding because by working with someone else, I was able to create something that wouldn't have been possible if it had been done solely with me. I was talking to my friend, Adam Rubin, yesterday. Adam is this great children's book author. He did Dragons Love Tacos and this book, High Five. I love his stuff, my kids love his stuff. He asked this question that I think I'm gonna use as I go back through the draft of The Girl Who Would Be Free. He said, you have to ask yourself, what does Epictetus want? Like, what does the character want? What are they trying to do? And then also, what does the world want of them? What does their characters want? So in The Boy Who Would Be King, Marcus Aurelius wanted to be a boy, and Rusticus in the world wanted him to be a king. So I wrote this down. I said, what does Epictetus want? I said, I need to think about this and polish accordingly. What is she trying to get? What does her dad want? What does the world want? And it's the tension between those things that drives the story of the book. So I think it's gonna be a good breakthrough. Victor is almost to the end. I sent him an email a couple days ago. I said, hey, how are the drawings coming, the first sketches? He's got a few left. I've been improving them as they come in. And then the next step will be to lay out the whole book, apply all the pictures to the text, print it out, and then hold it in physical form, read it to the kids again, see what's working, what's not working. I guess we're now 4+ months into it. I don't know if these should be on, and so if you cut that, then you also cut this page. Okay, so page 18, like for the same reasons, you know, when she's talking. New version today of The Girl Who Would Be Free, printed out, going through the different edits. This is the last go around before we put color into it. I think we've cut a few pages, so we're definitely going the right way. We started to talk about the cover. That's got designed. I wrote the back cover copy, and I'm gonna take this home and read it to my kids tonight. It's always good and it's always humbling to see, like, look, obviously I'm super interested in this, but how do you make it interesting to a kid who would rather watch YouTube videos? Quite frankly, most adults also. So it's not an easy job, it's really hard. And so every time I read it to the kids, one, it's just fun to bring like my work to the kids, but you just can't be self-indulgent. And every time I read it to them, the book gets shorter, it gets tighter. I think it's a little better. Hey, have you heard from Victor at all? I'm just curious what we need to do on the book just to get it all rolling.
So he's saying early February.
What?
It's looking like when he's going to have all of the colors.
I mean, he told us he'd be done by the end of the year. That's like
Yeah, I'm gonna call him again.
Yeah, I don't know where it went sideways, but if he's done it, I mean, this thing won't be out till June. That's like, it's gonna be 3 months late. All right, no, and look, he's amazing, and like, it's yeah, better than I thought. Like, all the drawings are better than I thought, but sometimes like people can get caught up in their own sort of like loop and not think about how all the different variables interact with each other. But like, I don't feel like I'm imagining, like, I was very much under the impression that color was being done.
Yeah, no, same.
Hello, Ryan.
Hey, Victor, how are you?
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm just looking at these drawings, or the colors.
Yes.
They look incredible. No, I love it. This looks incredible, and I think it's just the right amount of color, and I think we're good. I think we're good. I have never done a book that did not run into obstacles, either internal obstacles of procrastination or temptation or issues in your personal life, fatigue. But this book, I guess I thought coming out of the tail end of the pandemic it would be easier. You know, one of my favorite quotes from Marcus Aurelius, it says, look, there's brambles in the path, go around. If the cucumber is bitter, spit it out, right? He's saying that you can't take this stuff personally. You have to adjust, you have to be flexible, and ultimately, it's a constant reminder that like you're not in control. You don't get to decide. You gotta take it where it leads you, gotta accept it, and then you turn that into an improved final product. I got exactly the kind of email I did not want to get. The paper used for The Boy Who Would Be King is an uncoated paper that our printer is currently short of and can't get the necessary quantity until mid-March, which is gonna, he said this will delay the book even further. They have plenty of coated paper, but if we want to keep it consistent, we just have to sit on it. He's asked me what my thoughts are, so let's call him. We should probably just follow our own advice on the book, which is like amor fati, like it is what it is. Unless it is true that the paper is exactly the same. It's just we take it on the chin a little bit. We do it in June instead of April. Then we have more time to do it right, and it's a little bit more spaced out. Hey, so give me the latest on the supply chain issues for A Girl Who Would Be Free.
Every printing company at full capacity. So what should take 2.5 months is now taking 4 to 5.
Basically, it is what it is, and early summer is the earliest we're getting it under pretty much any circumstances, no matter how much we kick and fight and wish it was otherwise. I was going through the proofs yesterday of The Girl Who Would Be Free, and it was my last, what I thought was my last read. And on this page, it says, still most slaves kept their opinions like this to themselves. A nail that stands up gets hammered down, they used to say. Except it says stands up, get hammered down. So like a typo. And I had already approved the book to go into production. So my wife caught a typo. Thankfully, it was time to, there was time to correct it. But like, when we talk about amor fati, that like, you know, you think the delays or the problems of this is like what you don't want. Had it gone to production earlier, which is what I wanted, what I thought I wanted, every copy of the book would have had an error.
So I woke up this morning with a large fire that the Grow book would be pushed back another 3 weeks.
It's already, what, like 6 months late?
Oh yeah, 6 months late. We have a bunch of stuff in place for a marketing launch of July 8th.
Okay.
Your book, Discipline is Destiny, is supposed to come out September with some August promo.
Yeah, I need like breathing room between them.
Right. I figured out the reasoning behind it. It's because this book is a special sized book. It's not a standard 6x9. They kept pushing it back because we weren't able to fit in the larger production.
So they're having to carve out time just for this.
Correct.
And we're getting bumps.
I called her and let her know all of the different reasons why we cannot let this be pushed back another 3 weeks. She went back to her manager and just called me about an hour ago, said that they pushed multiple projects aside to make room for our special sized book of production. So we're still on schedule for them to ship them out June 30th, which gives you 2 days to sign thousands of books. But we'll make this work.
What Epictetus would say is, what do we control? We control what we tell people and when we announce it. So one option would be, do you not launch it on Sunday and wait until Tuesday?
No, we can launch it.
Because you're confident the backup plan is partial.
Yeah, I'm confident that no matter what, we will have books launched July 8th.
All right, well, that's not ideal, but it is what it is. In 3 weeks is not catastrophic given the amount that we've wasted. But I can't launch it at the end of July. You could say, which is why I just wonder if that could be like, so he didn't talk about his beliefs, he just lived them. Yeah, that would be even shorter. I don't think I need to see it again. I think you can just tweak that stuff.
Okay.
And we'll make it happen. You got it?
I got it.
Let me see. The cover looks sick. Hey man.
How are you?
Good to see you.
How you been?
This is Justin, he works for me.
Nice to meet you, Justin. I'm Tony.
We're just looking at, we're doing another kid's book.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I like how these turned out.
This one's really good.
Maybe one right here, and one right here.
Probably one here. Yeah. What did you think? What are your thoughts?
I think it came together nicely. It flows really well.
Yeah. All right. This is awesome, man. This book really came together.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
It's here. 32 copies, fresh from the printer, just in time. This was supposed to be here in March in a global printer shortage. It's gotten it here in July, but what matters is that it's here. It feels crazy to like have it in your hand. This thing that was a random idea in March 2021. I just had this vague idea of the story of Epictetus. I couldn't have imagined that it would go in this direction, that this would be the arc, this is what it would look like, but here it is. One of the best pieces of advice I ever got about writing came from Stephen Pressfield, who actually helped connect me with Victor, my collaborator on the project. But he said, like, as soon as you're done, start the next one. So there's always this excitement and joy and anticipation of putting a book out in the world. What are people gonna think? How's it gonna do? I try to tune that out because, as Epictetus would say, it's not in your control. Maybe they hate it, maybe it's ahead of its time, maybe there's some crazy world event that distracts everyone from it. So I try not to think of those things. I try to take satisfaction in the work itself, but most of all, I try to do that by turning my eyes and my attention to the next thing. So as this book is coming out and entering the world, and I do eagerly await it arriving, what I'm really focused on is the layout and research, and then ultimately, starting the first section of what will be my next book. I always celebrate the end of a project, congratulate myself for finishing a project by starting the next one, which I hope to talk to you about in a future video. I hope you like this video. I hope you subscribe. But what I really want you to subscribe to is our daily Stoic email, 1 bit of Stoic wisdom, totally for free to the largest community of Stoics ever in existence. You can sign up at dailystoic.com/email. There's no spam. You can unsubscribe at any time. I love sending it. I've sent it every day for the last 6 years, and I hope to see you there at dailystoic.com/email.